With the previous episode ending with the tragic death of a child who drowned, the Pitt episode 9 sees the trauma hospital's staff reeling from the loss while dealing with new patients. It's an episode that not only highlights the difficulty of having to continue working in the face of tragedy but also how the day's events are starting to catch up with everyone. This results in plenty of important character moments, alongside some long-awaited confrontations between characters who've been butting heads since the very start. Robby's struggles take a backseat to other major character moments. Other doctors get the spotlight this episode. Noah Weil as Robby looking tired in the Pitt Season 1 Episode 6. Despite how much the last few episodes have been focusing on Robby's trauma due to Adamson's death, Episode 9 takes a step back to focus more on other characters in the pit. However, it's not without its moments for Robby, the highlight being when he gathers everyone and tries telling them how to get through the day despite the drowning. He's interrupted by a new patient coming in during the middle of his story, though, and it's a dark reminder that there's never enough time to fully process grief at the hospital. The episode includes plenty of smaller stories getting wrapped up, such as Dr. McKay being unable to get Piper out of her situation, despite heavily pushing for it throughout the episode. On the opposite side of this is Dennis meeting the Kraken, or Milo, after he's calmed down from his mental health crisis, with the young doctor getting an apology after he was peed on. Their story has a happy ending, though, with Dennis volunteering for a group that can deliver Milo his medication, giving him some help while he's unhoused. There are also a few interpersonal stories throughout the episode, all of which add depth to the characters. An important one sees McKay treating a patient, Paula, who'd come in earlier, realizing she'd misdiagnosed a much worse infection. Dr. Collins tells her she might have subconsciously neglected her because of her weight when she was in last, something the resident acknowledges and will work on. A lighter story sees Victoria trying to ask Matteo out. While he's flattered, he says he doesn't date people he works with. However, Mel's story is one of the more interesting, as the Pitt's approach to realism shines through in her inability to shake off thoughts of the little girl who drowned. In a heartfelt scene between her and Langdon in the break room, he tells her they need sensitive people like her to balance out the toughness of their job. He recruits her to help a man who has gravel in his leg after almost being hit by a car, even bringing his dog Crosby to him. Their tender moment is one of the best in the episode. Santos and Langdon's tension explodes during a life-or-death moment. Will the pair continue to be at each other's throats? Dr. Trinity Santos, ISA Briones, threatening a patient in the Pitt Season 1 EP 7. Image via Max. Tensions are still high between Langdon and Dr. Santos, evident when a patient who overdosed arrives at the hospital. After placing her in an ice bath, Langdon grills the intern about what to do, causing her to answer snappily during his final question. However, events grow more intense when the patient begins seizing, prompting Santos to quickly call for saline after assessing the situation. While she's able to stop the seizure, she credits Dr. Mohan with the save. Langdon lambastes Santos for not getting him first, chewing her out just as Robby enters the room. Upon seeing the confrontation, Robby pulls Langdon aside to say his behavior won't be tolerated and to stop targeting Santos while she's trying to learn. In the meantime, the intern tells Mohan she let her take credit because of her constant conflict with the senior doctor. While it seems like Langdon is going to try being gentler with her moving forward, there's no guarantee it'll stay that way. Even though the Pitt episode 7 proved how well Santos deals with patients on a personal level, it's something the senior resident hasn't seen yet. Episode 9 ends on two big cliffhangers. One of them could redefine the show. But episode 9's most shocking moments happen at the very end. Midway through the episode, Robby speaks with Teresa, whose conversation with a therapist goes well. She still believes David is coming to pick her up, even though he ran off early in the series. However, one of the episode's final moments shows Teresa talking with two police officers, a worried look across her face. Since the Pit hasn't circled back to David since episode 3, it's safe to assume he's about to become a core element of the next episode. Just as surprising is the end of Doug Driscoll's story, as he makes one last attempt to get his test results back for his chest pain. When he tries to leave, Langdon presents him with a document he signed, acknowledging the injury or death that could occur without the hospital's help. In a surprising final scene, Doug decides to leave, but not before punching an unassuming Dana in the face while outside and knocking her down. While it's unclear if this is the last time he'll show up, his final act makes him more loathsome than ever before. With the medical drama offering two big cliffhangers at the very end, it seems like dynamics are about to shift drastically during the next hour. The extent of Dana's injury is unclear and there's nothing concrete about how David is connected to the police visiting the hospital. The Pit episode 9 served as a good episode in its own right, with plenty of compelling moments. But the build-up to episode 10 is what sticks by the time it comes to a close.